So I saw this article over on VGC. As you can see, it's a VGC article. And it says, for the 11th year in a row, games outsold video and music in the UK. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. And later in this video, because this got me to research something here in the US to compare. Actually, I'll show you now. I decided to compare the US video game market from 2011 all the way up to 2022. You know how big this is, to the yearly domestic market of the US box office. How are these comparing? And we'll go through a similar run. And I don't think it's very fair to say, 2021 and 2020 and 2021 for the box office just because of, well, lockdowns, and comparing those two as well, it's not very fair. That being said, I do find this aspect from the UK is super interesting. And I thought, hey, why don't we compare them here in the US? So we'll start here. The Digital Entertainment and Retail Association, ERA, reports that games accounted for 42.1% of total internet entertainment revenue in 2022. Sales also reportedly grew by 2.3% compared to 2021, reaching to a total of £4.664 billion. That is proper money. That is real money. That is money. That is a large chunk of money. Now, it's nowhere near the American, well, because that's billions right there. But that's a fudge ton of money. The victory was a narrow one, however, thanks to the large surge in revenue for video last year, up to 14.4% to £4.432 billion, not dollars, pounds. Sorry, American. The report's video game sales figures take into account physical software sales, digital console downloads, PC and mobile games, as well as a variety of other subscription and token-based playing mechanisms, whatever, word. Its video sales figures, meanwhile, count not only DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K disc sales, but also digital rentals and purchases, as well as subscriptions to streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime. So the reason why I said all that is, yes, over in the UK, technically, gaming is bigger than the home movies and music. That being said, their reporting, I would say, is a little flawed. Primarily because, take a look at video games. Yes, you could do physical softwares. Yes, you could do digital console downloads, PC, and then you add in the mobile games as well as a variety of other subscription and token-based mechanisms. I don't know what those are, so I don't know how to compare those for this. Then on the flip side, when you go look at video, so not really their box office, but how they get DVDs, Blu-rays, or things of that. They're also counting in Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime, which I don't think is fair, because we'll use Amazon Prime as an example. Amazon Prime, you can have a Prime account but not use the Prime Video. That's a thing that actually happens. Disney Plus, a lot of people actually don't realize they have a Disney Plus. At least here in the States, I don't know about UK. So again, I don't think that's fair. And then, counting Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime, how many people actually use those in comparison, I don't think is actually valid. That's why, and a lot of this stuff, I would actually prefer to, let's cut out this, and then I would need a better representation of this. I think you need a better apples to apples, because I don't know what this is, and these I don't think should actually count. As for music, which includes physical CDs and vinyl sales, as well as subscriptions to services like Spotify, again, I don't really think that should count. because it's just how many people actually use that. Yeah, you're getting money off of that, but are you really buying it and stuff? Like, are you actually using it? I don't know. Sales grew 3%, but at 1.986 billion pounds. The market was still a distant third behind games and video. According to the report, physical game software continued to see a decline, falling 4.5%. I actually have an idea of why this is from my understanding of how more the further out from like London and the big cities in like in the UK, the further out you get, the less likely it is to have ample access to like a game store and stuff. So digital sales going up kind of more means that, hey, well, kind of more means basically means, hey, more people are getting access, and more people seem to be getting access and not spending the time to go into town to pick up the game when they could just do it from their house. I think that is a reasonable explanation for that, especially for day one. According to the report, physical purchases now account for only 10% of overall game sector, though this is still taking mobile games and other sales into account. I don't think you should take mobile games into account because mobile games are such a unique area that spans not just games but other things, and it's a unique thing. When looking at just physical software sales and digital console sales together, the figures show 40-60 split in favor of digital. The report notes that games, video, and music have all flourished in the past 3 years despite the global pandemic and the UK's fragile economic situation. Since 2019, game sales have risen nearly 24%, which makes sense because right around 2019 or so, around 2019, that is when the big flip happened. That is when the massive flip happened, and the game industry kind of took over Hollywood, took over the box office, took over everything. Like, video games became the more predominant form of getting storytelling done, having adventures and escapism. We've gone through this through books to TV, TV to movies, or books to movies, movies to TV, so on and so forth, and streaming so continually. Escapism evolves. The modern escapism is video games, and video games is a massive market. One of the reasons why you can sit down and say, well, this year's AAA games I'm not so interested in, but there's more than likely going to be a diamond in the rough through all the indie games and all the other games that honestly come out almost every week, that you'll find something you're going to like. Yeah, there's a quote from the person. So I thought, hey, because of this, because gaming is still technically bigger over in the UK, even though I don't like how their metrics are done, I said, hey, how is the gaming industry, and granted, I don't know how this poll was done or anything, so I'll concede that. How is gaming how is gaming faring over here in the States versus the box office? Like, how is that one-for-one comparison going? It's not going very well because, as we pointed out, we'll start. This is 2011 all the way up to 2022. So in 2011, we dipped. We started coming back up. About 2019 is supposedly the year the game industry overtook the box office. So 2019 box office was $11 billion. Video games, actually it was probably sooner than that. Video games have been bigger for a long time, but for the most part, 2019 is where they generally say that the gaming industry became bigger. So, you know what? Let's do from my initial thing. Let's go 2011. Video games have been steadily bigger since 2011. That's where my thing is right now, okay? So in 2011, the box office was $10 billion. 2012, $10 billion. 2013, $10 billion. 2014, $10 billion. Steadily working its way up from 11 billion, 11 billion, 11 billion, 11 billion, 11 billion in 2019. And then the flat line came in 2020. I don't find it very fair to account for 2020 and 2021, mainly due to, well, you can basically see top grossing movies of that year. 2020 was Bad Boys for Life, and Spider-Man No Way Home was the two top grossing movies for those 2 years. Primarily because, well, lockdowns, and when lockdowns started ending, Spider-Man No Way Home came out. So you got that to test with. Now we get into 2020, you have $7 billion. $7 billion. While on the flip side, yes, games started taking a hit in 2012, but they were still bigger than the American box office. They started rising into 2013, 2014. You're sitting at a $35.13 billion, $36.47 billion in 2015, steadily rising to the point now that in America, video games far exceed the lowest point ever. Like, take the highest point in movie history, okay? Highest point that we have. 2018 from Box Office Mojo. 2018 is the highest point in American box office history. Doesn't even come close to the lowest point of gaming from 2011 to 2022. Why am I pointing this out? Why am I saying this? Why am I discussing this at all? It's because video games have effectively overtaken the movie-going experience. In 2020, what happened? Yeah, I hate to use this as a comparison and to knock the box office, but it's a valid point. In 2020, shutdowns began. As we reported down here, digital sales started going up. In 2020, shutdowns began. Digital sales were some of the only things people could get. Digital gaming, video games. We were locked in our house. Several of us were locked in our houses. I was lucky. I got to go out. But people were locked inside. Gaming boomed. It skyrocketed. And leading again into just a steady growth. Not even a skyrocket here, but comparing these two numbers. 2020, the gaming industry saw all new highs to the point now that it is one of the largest industries in the world, at least actually in the world. Here in America, it is 100% the largest escapism industry. While in our box office right now, our movies, Hollywood, at an all-time low compared to, well, you have to go all the way back. Roughly 1999 according to Box Office Mojo. If this is successfully adjusted for inflation, it's probably worse. All the way back to 1999 to get 2001, 1999 to get comparable lows. Game industry is on the rise. Game industry is the biggest thing it's ever been. Video games are still steadily coming out. And like I said earlier, the reason the game industry is so big and so massive isn't just because of AAA titles. Okay? Isn't just because of your, for lack of a better example, your Disney's, your Disney's, your Marvels, your DC's. Those are your AAA titles for movies. Game industry isn't just big because of those. It's big because on the flip side, if you don't like any of the AAA games, you're guaranteed to find an indie game or some other MMO or just something out there that you're going to fall in love with. That will make maybe not millions, but will make a lot of money. And all it takes is one single indie game, to become the next Minecraft. To become the next Stardew Valley. To become anything simple like that. That Minecraft takes a lot more code. But there's a lot of simple coded games that people fall in love with. That aren't very expensive. That's why this industry here is booming while sadly, Hollywood's dying. With all that being said, guys, let me get your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it out with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.